You good? Okay, Ray. Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate, and this is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. All right. Well, so I'm going to tell you all, if you're listening on radio, this is 24 hours later. We're recording this on Monday, and this is going to be Tuesday night this is airing. So we're going to be talking about a few things about the bank collapse, about Texas A&M Corpus Christi got into the play-in game for the NCAA. Houston's got a number one bid, so yeah, there's a lot of good things to talk about. But let's start with the banks and kind of what it means to you. And Jason will be on tomorrow night, and he is going to break it all down, all the technical and the economic data that he's seeing. But from a sort of everyman point of view or real estate investor point of view, I'll take that bull by the horns tonight. So first, looks like two banks are down, Signature and Silicon Valley Bank. If you haven't following the news, this is something that happened last week, and what I thought is happening is all playing out. I believe that the federal government will backstop those banks. I think they learned from Lehman. And again, it's a different scenario. Jason and I have been talking about this all morning and talking to other folks about it. It's definitely different than Lehman, but it's the same results, right? If the public keeps hearing about inflation, interest rates are high, people can't buy houses, there's turmoil in the housing market, and the next thing that the hammer to drop is their banks are failing, people are going to freak out. And so what do you have to do? Well, you have to calm people down, assure them that our brand of capitalism is the best brand of capitalism and everything's going to be okay. So what does that mean? Well, I don't know. It could be, we talked about it this morning, upwards to $2 trillion backstop. Who knows, right? I think we're at the beginning of this. And again, I'm a day behind when you're listening to this. So Biden came out already today and said, hey, they'll do whatever they need to do to backstop the banks. That's fine. I know there's actually still COVID money floating around out there, so they can repurpose that very, very quickly. And I think we'll get through it, but I think there'll be a little more blood on the street before everything settles. There'll be some local and regional banks that are going to drop by the wayside. You'll see very large banks like Wells Fargo and Chase and B of A, and they'll come in and they'll buy up those banks. If you're going to look at the balance sheets and how strong certain banks are, as far as stateside, it looks like Chase and Wells Fargo are positioned very, very well. So what does all this mean? So what we're talking about is, here's what happened to us. Just lay it all out for you. So Friday, we're watching this thing go down, and I get a text from Jason at like 9 o'clock at night. Hey, we need to take a look at our bank accounts tomorrow, and that was Saturday. So that's what we did. We jumped online, looked at all our bank accounts, make sure that there was nothing that was over too heavy, meaning nothing that was going to have more than $250,000 liquid or cash in it that we would be open to loss if we didn't have FDIC protection, right? So the FDIC is the Federal Deposit Insurance Company. Basically, you're going to get protected if your assets up to $250,000. So we reviewed all our bank accounts and said, okay, we're good. And then we reviewed like, hey, we're a little top heavy with one local bank. Let's move some money over to a national bank. And so we did a little tweaking this morning, Monday morning, and we're feeling very, very comfortable that, hey, we've done everything that we can do based on what we know at this time. We've sent out an email to all our investors, letting them know, hey, we've addressed the issue, we've looked at it, these are the things that we think are going to happen, and we're on top of it. Now, Is there any local bank that we think is going to go? No, we don't have any insight at all. We're just being good stewards of other people's money and our own. So, again, if you have, if you're listening in California and you got $500,000 in a bank somewhere, you might want to move it somewhere else or move half of it over. If you're, up in the Woodlands and you've got 600, 700,000 sitting in a bank account liquid, right? Because you've had to take some minimum required withdrawals from your IRAs and things like that. Hey, you might want to move and open up another account, Just get below that $250,000,000 so you're protected. And it is any entity. It's not just personal. It is LLCs as best we know. So you just have to be aware, right? Now, okay, that's something we do. We deal with it every single day. Jason is in tuned greatly into that space. So that's what will happen. We're okay. Now, to the layman, what does that mean, right? To the folks that don't have a lot of money, right? And, that's the thing that freaks them out. We've all remember the scene from It's a Wonderful Life, right? There's a run on the bank, on Potter's Bank, and there's George Bailey, right? And George Bailey's trying to talk to people. Hey, we just got to get through it. There's a lot of people who will panic and just want to hold cash, which is not the best thing, but certainly when there's money's going to get tied up for long amounts of time, yeah, I'll take cash, right? Let me come in and just put it all in the bank, like the scene from the Ozarks. If you ever watch that show, he's going to get $7.9 million in a couple duffel bags. But I don't think we're there. I don't think any of that's impacting us. I think you just got to be prudent. Just watch your balances. If they're they're extremely high, you're going to have to make sure that you're have an account that's protected by FDIC, right? Under $250,000. And you're safe. And so we did that ourselves. We looked at it. We feel really, really good. We're okay there. And we're ready to take a look at some other things. So all that being said, what will happen is, no good crisis goes unrewarded in the financial world. So here we go. This could be a bit of a crisis. We could have some issues. And next thing you know, we're worried about closing loans. So one of the things we're letting all our folks know in the mastermind, hey, if you got some transactions happening in the next 10 days, make sure you call your processor and loan officer. Make sure you have everything in. Make sure it gets done. I don't think we're in jeopardy, but I also know how underwriters and the guys that run money work. If there's a hair of doubt, the conditions to close are going to be more difficult. Period. Right? They're definitely going to be more difficult. So if you got some lines closing, if you got some other things going on, if you're in the real estate world, I would absolutely be checking in again with your processor, with your loan officer, making sure like, hey, we're still good. We're good to go. Excellent. So if I remember correctly, when COVID happened, again, I remember being in the radio studio. We used to do it in the morning then. And I remember being in the radio studio, and I remember having that conversation as it was happening. And we were calling up lenders saying, hey, is everything all right? And they're like, yep, everything's fine, all good. Yep, we had a meeting this morning, blah, blah, blah. Great. Next day, hey, radio, everything good? Yep, all good, excellent, all good. And then, the fifth day, it wasn't good. I'll continue on with that train of thought when we come back from the break. Hey, this is Robert with world-renowned Mr. Texas. We highly recommend you check out our website, mrtxre.com. There's lots of events. We got Airbnb. We've got small apartments. We've got women in investing. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in the next 2 weeks that you absolutely should go check out. We'd love to see you here at our building. Go to mrtxre.com. Hang tight. We'll be back. Hey everyone, welcome back. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Radio Network. No, sorry, the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Sorry. Anyhow, so we're talking about, hey, what we saw with COVID, because we lived through that. That's still, I can remember it. I can remember it being like Thursday, and we're like, hey, are we still good? And it's like, they're not calling us back. And what do you mean they're not calling us back? Yeah, they didn't call us back. And we don't make a joke around here. What happened when COVID went through and we were dealing with these private equity groups and non-QM stuff, they just ghosted us, right? There was one or two that would answer the phone calls, and the answer would be, we don't know what's going on. So within 7 days, and on like the 10th day, it was all over. Everything stopped. Nobody was lending. We got to figure out what's going on. So all right, here we are on day 1 and day 2 at the time of listening, and we're just real curious. So we're going to keep it up. But again, if people start ghosting us on Thursday and Friday, then there has been fear through the back ports, the back channels of the investment world, and we're just going to keep an eye on that because, again, I don't think it'll happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen with COVID either. In fact, we were assured everything was good and we're all good until someone with a higher net worth says it's not good. So here we are. We got 2 banks down. Got some other banks really, really close. They're talking about doing stress test on 13 regional banks in this country, which, that they all fall in a certain amount of period of time freaks everyone out. But banks should fail. There should be stress tests. There, I think I watched, was it Bloomberg? Yeah. Bloomberg we were talking about, hey, in 2022, no banks failed, which is something wrong there, right? They should have failed. Something, just the odds, right? So banks get bought, they get acquired, they go under. Things. It's a natural cycle, just like any other business. Just because they're a bank doesn't mean they're not a business, right? They have to do the same things that every other business does. And so we're watching, and you should be watching too. Again, I think the federal government, I think the Treasury Department, I think the Fed has learned its lesson from Lehman. Again, I agree, it's not anything close to what Lehman was doing, but it is in the fact that it spread, it was a trigger to spread fear. And so people just started freaking out. So again, you can pull your money out, but maybe it all goes to Wells and B of A and Chase, right? Maybe there's billions and billions of deposits going into those banks because they're solid. Maybe people are freaked out. I don't know. Maybe people are putting their money into T-bills, right? The 2-year T-bill was over 5% last week. Even that's down now. People were worried about inflation, right? T-bill wasn't keeping up with inflation, right? But it's also known as sort of a risk-free investment, right? It's guaranteed by the federal government. Now, anyway, if you bought 70,000 rounds of ammunition and buried them in East Texas when Obama was president, you're probably not trusting the American government, right? So that may not be the right investment for you. You might want to go gold coins or silver. Anyway, but putting in a T-bill, if that drives that down, then interest rates are going to go up more. So we're just sort of in this unknown with this little bit of fear hanging out here called bank failure. So keep an eye on it. We'll see. We would tell folks that real estate's a good place to park your money. It's always been a hedge. And if you need some help, you can go ahead and text us at 281-401-9008. Text passive at 281-401-9008. Let's start a relationship, see if we're a good fit for each other. And if that's, some of your concerns, you can put it to work with us, and it'll be in some dirt and some sticks somewhere. Again, you can text us at 281-401-9008, 281-401-9008. Text the word passive, and we'll get someone from the team to reach out to you to see if it's a good fit. We'll start talking about our relationship together. So that's probably all I want to cover on banks. I know, again, Jason will do a whole hour on this tomorrow night. He's not in the building today. He's running around looking at some properties. I do want to move on. But I will say again, if you have some deals that are closing in this week or next week, I would just make sure that you have all your conditions met that it is smooth sailing in underwriting, and you're going to get those closing docs you'll be able to close. So, and if there are something kickback, I would tell you, based on past COVID experience and hurricane experience and a whole bunch of other stuff, that if there is a condition, just meet it. Don't fight it. Just get that loan closed. Okay. So, all right. Texas A&M at Corpus Christi is in the play-in game, right? So if they win, they get the reward of playing number 1 seed Alabama. But, hey, I'm happy, right? I'm happy. They're called the Islanders. If you haven't seen them, they're the Islanders because the campus is on an island. It's actually probably an isthmus, but who knows? Anyway, the Islanders are right there. And I'll be rooting for them. That'd be great. For those who don't know, I've invested in the Corpus Christi market. I plan on retiring down there. We think it's a great place to be in Texas. So I'm happy to see the Islanders in there. I'm rooting for them. They have won, I want to say 11 of the last 14. They're on a good tear, and they're actually favored to win the game. So there's a play-in game. I believe there's 2 play-in games, and they're on one of the play-in games. So they will move. They should win. At the time you're listening to this, you should be able to check them out online. Hopefully they're up by a dozen, and they'll move on to play Alabama, and that's a tough one. Anyway, we're really excited about that. So March Madness is here. NFL free agency is here. Woo, spring training, World Baseball Classic is coming up. Oh, wow. I like this time. Got the NHL and the NBA heading into playoffs. This is my favorite time of year if you're a sports guy. There's just so much going on, right? So every major sports league has got something going on, and again, including the NFL. So I'm very happy to keep an eye on all this stuff. You should be too. It's a little fun, little needed distraction here and there. So again, for those of us who are fans of Corpus Christi, let's go Islanders. I'm very, very happy about that. All right, so again, we're talking about Mr. Texas. We're talking about our mastermind. We'll catch that in the back half here of the show. We had our mastermind weekend. And again, if you're a landlord, if you got 1 or 2 or 3 properties, you're looking to really sort of grow it out to 10, or if you have 100 properties and you're looking to get around some like-minded individuals, we highly recommend you work with us and come on in. If you're ready to have a call and have a conversation, and it might even be me you're talking to, you're going to go with call, or Jason. It'll be callwithmrtxre.com. Callwithmrtxre.com. That'll put you in our calendar. You're going to get a 20 to 30 minute call. We can talk about where you're at, what do you need to do, and see if it's the right fit for you. Now, we had a fantastic weekend. It was really, really good. I think everyone here really, really got some value out of it, and that's what we're trying to do. So again, if you have 1 or 2 and you're ready to move up, if you have 100 and you're ready to get around some like individuals, even if you have none and you realize, hey, I've got some high income, I've got high tax rate, I'm going to have to find some depreciation, maybe it's time to get into real estate, you definitely want to jump on the phone with us. So you're going to go to the website callwithmrtxre.com. It's all one word, callwithmrtxre.com. Go ahead and schedule an appointment, and we'll have a conversation. Hang tight, guys. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. So thanks for joining us, guys. Appreciate you. For those of you who's watching online and on YouTube later in the day, shorts, I'll do it again. I'll look right at the camera. So people are asking, like, why are you standing up? Why aren't you sitting down? So I'll just tell you that I have been to like every mindset class, guru, webinar program out there, and all of them have good information. So I don't mind going to these things. I always pick something up. We talked about it in our mastermind. I'll break that down a little bit. But here's the reason. So why do you stand up? It's because I want to get into state. You'll also see me doing this. You'll see me grabbing my wrist. It's a little trigger that I do that gets me up, gets the energy up, drops my voice a couple octaves so I sound good like a radio voice, and gets me engaged with the things that we're doing. I have to do that because at the end of the day, once you've got your real estate machine set up, it's kind of boring. It just makes money and grows wealth. So anyway, that's why I stand up. I get into state, get my mindset, get my energy levels up. I can pronounce, I can project a lot better than sitting down. So anyway, sorry if you're on the radio and you're not seeing this, but people are asking me online, why do you keep standing up? So that's why I stand up. It's because I've been to every single guru, and at some point someone said, stand up when you speak. Smile if you want people to be happy, right? So that's what I do. A lot of energy. This is what we're working on. All right, so we had our mastermind, right? So I'm just going to talk a little bit about mindset and kind of the stuff we went through the mastermind. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but for those of us that, still watch motivation videos, that are watching Jordan Peterson and Andrew Huberman and Joe Rogan, and all these other guys out there who are talking about, hey, this is the billionaire routine, or this is the perfect routine. This is your morning routine. This is your daily mindset. All that stuff. I watch all that stuff. The problem is, unless you're a YouTuber, right, with some $10,000, $20,000 coaching program, it's hard to find the time to do all that. That's always my joke. And personal philosophy. I'm hesitant to take marketing advice from people whose only job it is to teach marketing. Like I'm a little hesitant on that. I'm like, I get it. You're selling yourself. I mean, that's the joke that we use when we hire salespeople. It's like most people are really good at selling one thing, right? Most salespeople are good at selling one thing, and it's themselves. There's a vast, vast majority, like 95% of the salespeople are only good at selling themselves, if that. And 5% of the salesperson market are true salespeople, and you've got to dig deep to find that person. So anyway, I don't like to take marketing advice from people whose only end game is to sell marketing classes, right? Or masterminds or books on tape or things like that. I want to see them take it in a very practical manner. Hey, you show me how you sold dog food. Show me how you did a florist place. Show me how you sold your restaurant, right? Those are the things I'm interested in. How did that work? What was the feedback, right? So anyway, in our world, there are gazillion videos on how to have that perfect morning, how to maximize productivity, how to have the best day, right? How to win, blah, blah, blah. I sort of went through, just as a little exercise for me, and I just started typing up, hey, what are the things that everyone keeps talking about? What are the ones that hit me the hardest? And I came up with a list of 7 on the sort of physical side and 7 on the mental side. And again, we'll go through a few here. But what I realized is, wow, if I'm going to do all 14 of these, I don't have time for work. So, I mean, unless my work is teaching people how to do all 14 things, right? And that's not a bad job. I'm not going to knock it, right? But again, if my only practice is to get other people to practice what I'm saying, I find it hard, right? So like, tell me how the guy who's closing, I don't know, this month we're going to close $10 million in real estate, pick up $800,000 in contract work and do some property management and some other things, right? So tell me how that person gets all 14 things done. That's what I'm struggling with. And I think that's what you're struggling with. And you're going to listen to a business show, you listen to a conservative talk right here tonight. I'm probably the least conservative guy on this radio station. Nonetheless, trying to figure out how to be that perfect routine, have that perfect morning, it's just really hard. Just really hard. Right? Like Huberman's telling us, you got to go out and stare at the sun for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, boy. What happens if I get up before the sun? Well, then you got to build a little light box and put your head in the light box for 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to skip that. That's not working for me. Don't drink coffee for the first 90 minutes. Yep, I've been doing that for the last month. Have I seen a dramatic impact in my life? No. maybe on the sleep side. I have been getting like a hard 7.5 hours, no interruptions. So something I'm doing in the last month, and it could be the coffee thing, is allowing me to sleep through the night. Oh, wow, I just had an epiphany. Yeah, I'm going to assume that's it. See, it's so good to take an introspective look. So, yeah, I've been doing the coffee thing. No, for the first 90 minutes, I'm skipping coffee, just drinking a little water or nothing, and then getting into the routine. And I have been having good sleeps. As I put my head down, and next thing you know, boom, it's 5 a.m., right? Well, now it's 6 a.m. So, okay, no coffee for 90 minutes. Drink lots of water. Don't, switch out all your caffeinated drinks and all that other stuff to water and lemon. Water and lemon are very good for you. Eat more plants, less meat, more beans. Got it. Trying to work on that. Having a good month so far. Exercise for 45 minutes a day. I find that very hard to do. I'm very, very busy. I'm trying to work it in. I'm really excited about getting into a golf course here and starting to do that. That'll take up a lot of time. But again, just going through this list and going to bed early, sober living, right? No booze, no narcotics. I'm trying that, right? I haven't had a drink since I came back from the cruise. I'm trying that. See if that's going to make a difference. And then on the mental side, again, people love to talk about Think and Grow Rich. Love it. And not until it got sort of revised in the 50s or 60s did it really kind of hit the mainstream. But anyway, the first 8 points of that book are very, very good. Having a plan, writing your goals down with deadlines, and articulating those goals to yourself every single day. So there's a lot of things that people are supposed to be doing through Think and Grow Rich, and everyone loves the book, and they all, oh my God, it's the greatest book ever. This made change my life. And I'm like, okay, well, let me see your goals and let me hear your mantra. Oh, yeah, that part of the book. Well, I don't do that anymore. Okay, so what are we talking about, right? And that's my point. People love that book and preach about that book, and I'm like, okay, so just show me your written goals. Show me your affirmation statement. Right? Where's your mastermind? Oh, I don't do that, and I don't do that, but I really love the book. Okay, I get it. I'm not going to criticize. If you're trying to be better in life, God bless you. But that's my point. You can't even get through that book. And that book is long and not easily readable. So pick... And when we come back from the break, we'll wrap this up here. And again, 7 and 7 are sort of the big things that I'm seeing out there that have the most trend, that have some science behind it. So we'll talk about that when we come back. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. Make sure you go to our website, mrtxre.com. Check us out. We'll see you here in the building this week. Welcome back. This is Robert with the world-renowned Mr. Texas Real Estate. This is the Texas Real Estate Mastermind Hour. All right, we got last segment coming up here. So, I think some of these, we all understand like the Instagram and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, even though I'm on it as well, most of that stuff is not obtainable. It can be motivational, which is good. Some people, including myself, need motivation from time to time. But here comes Peterson. He's got his perfect day, and Huberman's got his perfect routine. And this is the millionaire start day, and this is Tony Robbins' day, and this is I get all of it. But their life and their careers are much, much different than what you and I do. So for me, I said, okay, I found these 7 things on both sides, both physically and both mentally, right? And I just said to the mastermind, hey, how many of us are doing less than 3 of these? A couple hands went up. I said, okay, how many are doing 4 to 7? And a few more hands went up. I said, how about 7 to 10? Like 2 hands went up. I said, anyone doing 11 or more? And no. I said, okay, so that's what I believe. If you just get to 7, If you can do half the things on that list, the 14 items, I think you see a profound change in your outlook on life, on your physical condition, on your how you think about things, right? How you're able to problem solve, your attitude. I don't think you need to do them all. And it would be nice to do them all. But that's called retirement, right? Or you're an influencer. Hey, I drive around the world in an RV, and everything is great for me, and this is what I do, and here's my routine, and I'm gonna drink my eat my kiwi, and I'm gonna eat this, and I'm gonna drink this, and I'm doing a hot water and lemon, and look, this is my sunset. I get all that. That's an excellent YouTube video. That's fantastic. But me and Daryl, are you waking up with the Pacific sunrise, right, or the sunset in the Pacific Ocean? Are we driving through the redwood forest in our van No, we have a real life. But man, if we can just hit half of what I think are the big 14, I think you see some major changes. For instance, one of the things I'm trying to implement, like right now this week, that I used to do, that I forgot to do, now I got to get back to doing it, is the 2-minute rule. So anything that can be done in less than 2 minutes, do it. If it's on your list and it's only 2 minutes, do it. So I clean my office, right? And that's a big one. Like, I forget the Rear Admiral speech, but he basically said, hey, you start by making your bed every morning. Start by getting everything in order and having a routine. So we definitely make our beds every morning. We clean up the house every morning. We have a routine with the dog every morning, right? And I want to make sure that my office is clean when I work at home. I'm doing a little more work. Again, this is just an adjustment for me. I am trying to get 2 major things done every morning before I leave the house. And then I can come to work and I can manage the people here. And there's 20 or so people that work for me. Work for us, but directly report to me. So just trying to figure out these little things. I don't need to do everything on the list, but boy, if I could just get half done, you'll see your self-improvement. Okay? So, all right, let's do the list. So we could do a quick little YouTube short. I guess our YouTube shorts are doing well. Guys, if you're not watching us on YouTube, you should check it out. We're getting some pretty good traction. I'm happy with the way that's all working out. I guess I'm on TikTok, so I must be, a Chinese communist. I guess I'm a Chinese communist. We're on Instagram. That's all doing really, really well. So here are the things. I'll just sort of read them to you that I talked to the mastermind about. First thing, get good sleep. Right? 6 REM cycles is pretty important. That should be about 7.5 hours. 9 hours. You can do 5, which is 7.5, but for sure you want to have that Saturday morning or Sunday morning getting 9 cycles. And, if things are crazy in your life, at least get 5. You can go to bed early. Trust me, you can fit them in. Drink water, lots of water with lemon, right? Again, so on the physical side, get good sleep, drink water with lemon. Cold shower in the morning. I did that 4 days last week. I felt an immediate impact out of the shower. I didn't see anything long-term from it, but I'll get back to it this week. Physical activity for 45 minutes. Sober living, less meat, more plants. So those are the 7. Good sleep, drink water, cold showers, physical activity, make your bed, get everything organized in the morning, sober living, less meat, more plants. Try and get 3. Just try and get 3. Any one of those 3. If you do any of those 3, I'm telling you, you're going to see a difference. You get to 4, it's pretty darn good. So on the other side of it, we're talking about whether it's prayer or meditation. And here's a big thing. We just kind of things get washed out over time. It says in the Bible, hey, Jesus went off to pray and meditate. They're 2 different things, right? When you do meditation, you're focused on breathing. So you can go down this rabbit hole about breathing and breathing right and breathing through your nose and not through your mouth and all this other stuff. But I would tell you that if you're doing prayer every day, I would also add 10 minutes of meditation. That's just self-contemplation. And then do it with good breathing techniques. Any of your social media apps, any tap games, like miniature golf or football or all that stuff, get rid of that and get Blinkist. Like, you could devour a book in 20 minutes. You can get the highlights of the book. Now, do I recommend you read the book and go through it? Yes, there's a lot of value there. But, man, you can start ripping through a lot of stuff. If you want to dig deeper, then dig deeper, right? So get rid of the tap games, fill with education. Number 10, journaling, right? You got to write your stuff down. And people, listen, you may not be the greatest writer in the world. You may not have the greatest penmanship. But we're not talking about a diary with a unicorn on it. We're talking about just writing down the things that were important that day, that you learned that day, and that you need to get better at. And that could be a spreadsheet for us nerds out there, right? Here's another one I said to the mastermind. You got to monitor your finances daily. Like, you've got to monitor your finances daily. Nobody cares more about your money than you. So you've got to look at it. Now, if it gets depressed to look at it, maybe that motivates you to move. So I had a phone call yesterday. I told a guy, old buddy of mine, I'm like, hey, man, you got to go play the guitar one night a week just to make an extra $150 and put it into a Roth IRA. Just little things. Like, you got to monitor your finances. Eliminate simple decisions. And the joke is, I have the same underwear and the same socks and the same T-shirts for everything. I don't have to think about any of that. I just grab and go. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it. And then the last thing is we started looking at very hard is reframing, your argument, reframing your thoughts, sort of understanding what's going on. So for the camera, for Instagram, here are the 14 things that I have, the wisdom that I've gained from YouTube that have affected my daily life. 1, get a good sleep, right? At least 5 REM cycles, maybe 6. Drink water. And if you're going to drink water, drink it with lemon. That's really important. Drink lots of water every day. Cold showers in the morning. Make your bed every morning. Get your house and your kitchen all in order before you leave. Physical activity for 45 minutes a day. Sober living. Less meat, more plants. Those are the 7 physical things. On the mental side of things, pray and meditate daily. Prayer is different than meditation. Work on your breathing techniques when you meditate. Get rid of all of those tap games and cut back on your social media apps and really invest in education, whether it's Blinkist, Audible, whatever it is. Work on educating yourself instead of entertaining yourself. Another one is journaling, right? Start writing down the things that happened that were good, that were bad, the areas of improvement, and things you need to remember. Monitor your finances daily. That's a big one. You got to monitor your finances. You got to know where your money is. Nobody cares more about your money than you. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it. That's really, really, really important. Eliminate simple decisions out of your life. So just take out, don't think about the socks and the underwear and all those shoes. Just make sure those little decisions are gone. And lastly, you want to start thinking about, hey, how do I reframe my life? If an experience happened to me, what was my reaction to it? Why was that my reaction? And how can I be better in those situations moving forward? That's the 14 things. If you can get 7 done, just 7 of those 14, I can honestly tell you your life is changing. You don't need to get all done. If you're going to try and get all 14 done, that's called retirement. All right, guys, thanks for listening. We're out.